Active weather is on the way. Let's talk about when it's going to rain in this Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. An active weather period coming up for the state of Texas. We're going to be dealing with the chance of wildfire issues, severe thunderstorms, heavy rain, and some cooler weather on the way. Let's just get into it. Here's the high-res rapid refresh model. This is for today, tonight, into tomorrow. Today, cloud cover will start to dwindle, at least across the northwest half of Texas by late afternoon. Tonight, we could see fog and low-level stratus across the Edwards Plateau, Hill Country, Central Texas, North Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Southeast Texas, essentially areas east of a dry line. Then tomorrow, we're going to see cloud cover continue in part across the eastern half to the eastern third of Texas, western half of Texas. It is going to be windy, dry, sunny, and we're going to be dealing with wildfire issues. Let's look at the wildfire outlook from the Texas A&M Forest Service for today. High to very high wildfire danger for the Panhandle, West Texas, Permian Basin, Big Bend region, Guadalupe Mounds, Davis Mounds, out into the borderland of far West Texas. Tomorrow has the potential to be a busier day for the Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, the Permian Basin. Did I say West Texas? Well, I'm saying it again. Congrats, you get 2 for 1. Down to the Permian Basin, the Big Bend, the Davis, Guadalupe Mounds, the Trans-Pecos, the borderland of far West Texas, with high to very high fire danger. On Thursday, the very high to high fire danger will be relegated to the Permian Basin, the Big Bend, Davis, Guadalupe Mounds, the Trans-Pecos, into the borderland in far West Texas. All right, let's look at the severe weather outlook for Thursday. There is a chance, maybe a 1 in 4, we see a thunderstorm Wednesday evening in the Ark-La-Tex in northeast Texas. If that happens south of the Red River, it could have large hail. In all likelihood, the highest chance for isolated to perhaps scattered thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon to tomorrow evening will be across eastern Oklahoma and eastern Kansas. Thursday, different story. The potential for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms will develop across portions of Texoma, North Texas, the Ark-La-Tex, northeast Texas, into the northern Brazos Valley in East Texas. Now, this is going to be one of these complicated scenarios we'll talk about more in a minute, but there are timing differences in weather model data still, even as we're getting into the 3-day range, that make this a lower confidence forecast. For example, and well, here, let's just look at it. This is the global forecast system, the American longer range weather model for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, into Sunday morning. Notice it has scattered thunderstorms Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, North Texas, Northeast Texas, and the Ark-La-Tex. This is going to loop, don't worry, so you'll get to see it more than once. It then moves a cool front south on Friday, bringing the highest chance for isolated scattered thunderstorms into portions of central Texas, south central Texas, into southeast Texas and east Texas, essentially in proximity to the cool front, which also has timing differences. Some of those storms Friday could also be strong, not as strong of a signal for severe weather at this point, but we'll keep an eye on it. Then that front will continue to slowly sag south Saturday, with chances for some rain, maybe snow in the Panhandle, West Texas on Saturday as well, with unsettled weather continuing southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, South Texas, Edwards Plateau, essentially near that cool front. Now, that is the American weather model. The European is about 12 to 24 hours slower. So I'll let this loop back around. You could see scattered thunderstorms by early Thursday afternoon, continuing into Thursday evening, that front slowly moving south on Friday. But notice, it has precipitation chances continuing farther north and a pretty rowdy line of storms along that cool front moving south Friday afternoon into southeast Texas. And then we have more showers and storms on Saturday and Sunday across pretty much a majority of the state, if we're being honest here. That doesn't mean it's going to rain every location, every minute of each day, but unsettled weather. Now, you might be wondering, why are we dealing with these weather model differences? Well, what we're going to have, as we switch back to the severe weather outlook for Thursday, is an upper-level storm system that's going to set up over the four corners of the southwestern United States. It's going to sit there for a few days, sending little perturbations or little pieces of upper-level energy lift across the southern plains of the United States on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Models are not handling this well, as you might expect. Some models think this system's going to eject or move northeast more quickly. Some models think it's going to sit there all weekend, just sending out these little waves of energy all weekend as well. So, unfortunately, until this system makes it onto the coast of the southwestern United States and we get weather balloon data up into it, and that data is ingested into weather models, the models are going to continue throwing out varying solutions, even though we're getting within the 72 to 96 hour time frame. So, I mean, I could lie and tell you exactly what I think is going to happen and portray it as, hey, here we go. But what I'm going to do, and what I have done, is simply tell you kind of, we don't really know yet. I'm going to give you the possibilities as they are presenting themselves now, but with the caveat of, hey, this is low confidence, probably not going to happen exactly the way either of these models show. It's going to change, and folks are probably going to be like, oh, he has no idea what he's talking about. No, typical weatherman get wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's okay. I've been wrong plenty in my life. You learn to accept it and move on. But some data is suggesting is we may stay quiet most of Thursday afternoon and have to wait till Thursday night. Some models fire storms up around lunchtime Thursday, and then it's off to the races from there on out. Scattered severe storms through the evening, while other data doesn't really get things going until closer to dinnertime Thursday, which would actually increase the threat for some rowdier supercell-like thunderstorms, especially in North Texas, Texoma, the Ark-La-Tex, since, well, the atmosphere would have more time to destabilize. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. All right, here is the forecast rain totals as it stands through 7 a.m. Saturday. 7 a.m. Sunday. Highest rain totals currently expected to be in the Ark-La-Tex, East Texas, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, back to the Brazos Valley. We could see 1 to 3 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts possible. Places like Texarkana, Tyler, Longview, Marshall, Lufkin, College Station, Bryan, down to Houston, Jasper, Beaumont, Galveston. Yeah, it's probably going to be a wet weekend. Perhaps 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rain as it stands now. Sherman, Fort Worth, Waco, Killeen, Austin, East, and then the potential for 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain along and east of a line from, let's just say, Henrietta, Mineral Wells, Breckenridge, back southwest towards San Angelo to Del Rio, all the way down through the Rio Grande Plains, east through the coastal bend. But notice the Rio Grande Valley, specifically Brownsville, you're not really going to see much out of this. It looks like at least precipitation totals under 1/10 of an inch. Now, the Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin, parts of the borderland, notice we have a few splotches of precipitation totals up to 1/10 of an inch. It's probably going to be a dreary weekend in terms of cloud cover, very light rain, sprinkles, maybe a few snow flurries, especially on Saturday and Sunday. But overall, we're not expecting much in terms of rain totals over a few hundredths of an inch, which doesn't show up here with precipitation totals on this scale starting at 1/10 of an inch. So it's going to be an unsettled weekend. It's not going to be a particularly pleasant weekend, but for the western third to the western half of Texas, we're not going to see appreciable precipitation in all likelihood, unless something changes, which it always could, given the fact I already mentioned this is somewhat of a low-confidence forecast thanks to the timing differences in weather model land. Now, let's look at temperatures over the next few days. Here's today. It's going to be a bit warmer across the western third of Texas. We're going to see 80s all the way across northwest Texas into west Texas, the Permian Basin, the Big Country, down to the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains, into the Rio Grande Valley, low to middle 80s, perhaps an upper over 80 in the Big Bend region. Otherwise, we're looking at middle to upper 70s across the remainder of Texas today. Tomorrow, who wants to hit 100? Because that's what Laredo may do. Technically, on this graphic, high temperature forecast at 97. Someone down there is probably going to hit 100 degrees. That's just the way it goes. 90s in South Texas into the Rio Grande Plains, up into the southern Big Bend. Otherwise, we're looking at mid to upper 80s across the Concho Valley, the Big Country, western North Texas, northwest Texas. 80s and 70s across the remainder of the state. Now, here is Thursday. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want it to be Friday. Cool front going to start moving into the Panhandle. That's going to knock temperatures down to the 50s and 60s. Otherwise, the rest of the state, we're still looking at 70s to 80s with 90s down in the Rio Grande Plains once again, down to deep South Texas. Here is Friday. Now, again, this has the cool front moving southeast into the Panhandle, West Texas, the Big Country, maybe even parts of the Concho Valley in North Texas. Highs in the 40s and 50s. Then we transition ahead of that front into the 60s, 70s, 80s, and yes, for those of you in the Rio Grande Plains, you still get 90s because, well, who doesn't like a little summer heat? I don't, by the way. I don't like summer heat. A bald head here does not like it. And then here's high temperature forecast on Saturday. And this will probably be refined a bit depending on the timing of that cool front. Highs in the 50s, West Texas, the Panhandle, down into maybe even parts of the Permian Basin and the Big Country. Texoma, North Texas, y'all get 60s. Same for the Ark-La-Tex and the Hill Country, at least the western portions. Same thing goes for the remainder of the Permian Basin, the borderland, far West Texas, around El Paso, down into the Davis-Guadalupe Mounds. 70s, southeastern third of Texas with 80s along the immediate Texas Gulf Coast, the Golden Triangle, down to South Texas, and the Rio Grande Valley. So again, it is going to be an active period over the next several days of weather. We do have the chance for some severe thunderstorms, especially Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. We may have some issues with that on Friday as well, but confidence remains too low to delineate any specific risk regions at this point. That'll probably change by tomorrow. And then an unsettled weekend ahead with the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms across at least the eastern half of Texas at times, with very light precipitation and snow flurries, maybe some light rain in the Panhandle, West Texas, into the Permian Basin. That'll be it for your Texas Weather Roundup on this Tuesday. Thank you very much to everyone who has been subscribing to us on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. We're about up to 19,000 subscribers. We definitely appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you for your feedback, your comments. We appreciate it, whether it be positive or negative. If I bust a forecast, which is probable, feel free to call me out on it and be like, oh, you're dumb. But please be kind in the insult department. My poor little fragile ego simply can't handle it. That's a lie. It is what it is. You learn to live with it. Thank you to all those who have been keeping an eye on the sky with us. As always, you can get your local weather forecast and interactive weather radar with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers wherever you download your mobile devices apps, and you can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. We'll keep an eye on the wildfire issues today and tomorrow, and as always, we'll be back bright and early Wednesday with a new Texas Weather Roundup. Y'all have a good Tuesday. God bless.